Alright guys, welcome to my preview and predictions for Extreme Rules 2014, but before we get started, here are the results to last month's WrestleMania 30 predictions, of which nobody was able to correctly predict all of the matches, thanks largely to Brock's victory over The Undertaker as the Beast conquered the streak. As for this month's predictions, if you want to submit your predictions for Extreme Rules, you can do so using the link in the video description, and I'll post the results on Monday morning. So let's get on with the first match, as we start out with the pre-show in the WLC match between Hornswoggle and El Torito. So these two are set to settle their differences, which I think may have started at the Hall of Fame, and then continued ever since, in a little man's TLC match. So we're going to expect the likes of miniaturised tables, ladders and chairs, and if there's something hanging above the ring, I'm guessing it's going to be hung around head height. Now, I'm not really a fan of these kind of matches, as I think it's a waste when you've got great talent on the roster who haven't made the card, with Dolph Ziggler being a prime example. But that said, this should be a good start with some funny spots to perk everyone up before the event itself, and with El Torito's high flying ability, it should prove to be an interesting encounter which could go anywhere, although I'm going to go for El Torito to pick up the win. Up next we have our new Divas champion Paige, who shocked the world to end AJ's title reign the night after WrestleMania, taking on AJ's former bodyguard Tamina. Now, based on the matches that we've seen from Paige on the main roster, I'm expecting this to follow the same route, with Paige taking a beating from the larger, more powerful Tamina, only to come back and withstand the pressure before regaining the title by submission or a quick turn of the page. This next match seems to have a bit of an odd pairing, as the predicted match between the former partners Swagger and Cesaro has now had RVD thrown into the mix, presumably to make the most of RVD on his short contract and bide the time while creative finds something for him. As for the match itself, I think this has the potential to be a really good encounter, as all three men have great talent, and when you add in RVD's high flying ability, it's a good addition to the more technical and the power based attacks of Swagger and Cesaro. Based on the push of Cesaro, I don't see anything other than a win for him here to help continue his momentum, so I'm predicting a Cesaro win, hopefully with some nice spots along the way like a European uppercut to RVD as he tries to hit a 5-star frog splash on Swagger. Next we have the Bulgarian Brute, Alexander Rusev, taking on R-Truth and Xavier Woods in a 2-on-1 handicap match, which, even though the odds are against him, I still expect this to be nothing more than a squash match to continue to put over the power and the dominance of Rusev. So I'm expecting this to be a pretty quick encounter, with Rusev picking up another win by submission, as a loss here, even against two men, it just wouldn't make any sense at all. The second title match of the night is up next, as Big E defends against Bad News Barrett, who won the recent #1 Contenders tournament, which was something I really enjoyed and I thought went a long way at bringing back some credibility to the Intercontinental Championship, which is now essentially the second highest ranking title in the company after merging both the WWE and the World Heavyweight Championships. For me, if you're a fan of Big E, then I'm afraid I've got some bad news, because I can't see him retain the title against Barrett. I fully expect to see Barrett leaving as the new champion, because Big E's reign, it started off well, but it's kind of faded out and he hasn't really done anything as the champion. So with a renewed focus on the belt, I think it's the perfect time to give it to Barrett, and then have him defend it on the upper half of the card against some of the bigger names to try and bring back some importance to the championship. So for me, I'm going with a win for Mr. Bad News. Next we have John Cena taking on Bray Wyatt in a rematch from WrestleMania 30, although this time it takes place in the confines of a steel cage to help stop outside interference from both Harper and Rowan, who we know will still get involved at some point. Personally for me, I'm really liking this feud and I love Bray's character, topped off with a creepy choir of kids that was seen on this week's Raw and another teased heel turn from Cena, something that I'm still hoping we'll get to see at some point, but after teasing it so many times and never going through with it, I don't think it's something that we'd see. As for who wins, I think it has to be Bray Wyatt, especially after Cena's victory at WrestleMania, which was something that I really didn't agree with. I thought it made much more sense to have Bray win at Mania, and then if you want to go down the redemption route of John Cena and defend his legacy, that should have come later on. So for me, this one has to be a Bray Wyatt win. Next is what could actually be the main event depending on how the match ordering goes, as we'll have the Shield taking on the recently reformed Evolution, which is the match that I'm most looking forward to, because every time the Shield get in the ring, especially on pay-per-view, magic just seems to happen. So even if this turns out to be half as good as the 6-man tag match that they had with the Wyatts at Elimination Chamber, this match will steal the show. As for trying to pick a winner, I think this is the hardest match of the night to predict, as either team could actually come out on top, and regardless of the outcome, I expect this rivalry to carry on for the next few months, possibly with a return match at next month's aptly named Payback pay-per-view, and then possibly some singles matches between the team members after that, which would be a great way to elevate someone like Roman Reigns by having him cleanly defeat someone like Triple H further down the line. Getting back to the match in hand, I've gone for an Evolution win due to them only just reforming, and also because I can't see Triple H's ego allowing him to lose 2 matches on 2 consecutive pay-per-views, but like I say, I feel this match could go either way as this feud rumbles on over the summer. Finally, we have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line as Daniel Bryan makes his first title defense against his former partner, Kane. So it's been an emotional few weeks for Bryan, which started out with incredible scenes of him winning the title at WrestleMania, then his marriage to Brie Bella, and the sad loss of his father, something that seemed to lead to WWE having Kane brutally attack Bryan to allow him to take some time off, and something that actually seemed to make Kane look like the monster that he's supposed to be. So it was great seeing that side of Kane again, along with him return the mask, but as good as that segment was, I just feel like Kane's character has been damaged so much over the years that it's really hard to have him go back to that role and actually make it believable. Regardless of that, I really didn't expect to see Kane be the first person Bryan would defend the title against, but I guess this match is probably what was originally planned for WrestleMania before the whole Punk walkout and that brought Batista win the Rumble, and it makes sense given the history between the two, so I think we'll see them both put on a good match, but I think everyone would agree that Kane has no chance of winning the title. Then again, we said that about Brock beating the streak, so who knows. As for my prediction, I'm going to go with a Daniel Bryan win. So there you go, that's my preview and predictions for Extreme Rules. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and feel free to submit your predictions to the Smacktalks Prediction League using the link in the video description, and I'll post the results on Monday morning. Until next time, enjoy Extreme Rules, and I'll catch you later.